Hello, everyone. My name is Steven Severin, and I'm in charge of the social media product over at iMarket Solutions. And what we're going to cover today is the state of social media, cause marketing, and COVID 19. And my goal for today is to really give you some brief and actionable information that you guys can take home and implement in your own businesses. Before we begin, I want to briefly discuss what the current state of social is and how we've perceived it. From what we found is personal usage is way up. Social media engagements have seen a sizable increase. Conversion is stable or down, and this really depends on what area you live in. And the economic hardship of the pandemic is reducing competition across the board, with businesses reducing their budgets. But what we've seen from iMarket in particular is a huge increase in impressions. Between February and March, we actually saw a 91% increase in the impressions achieved. Our CPM actually decreased by 36%, and our page engagements actually increased by 28%. So, what that means is that the content that we're creating for our clients who subscribe to the social media product have seen robust, really great piece of content that's consumable, that can be engaging, and Facebook's rewarding us for that content due to decreased competition, due to decreased ad spends across the board, and then also because users are more active on these social platforms. But this is just iMarkets and what we found last month. If we look at a more broader view of what's going on as a global trend outside of the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical industry, we found that ad spends actually decreased by 23%, according to one study. Facebook's platforms actually increased more than 50% over the last month, while voice and video calling have actually doubled on the Messenger and WhatsApp. And specifically, all messaging platforms across the board have seen a usage, and most in the 18 to 34-year-old age group. And what we actually found was there was a 40% increase of people actually utilizing social media from a daily usage standpoint. And so if you kind of take all this data, the the main finding out of this is that customers are spending a lot more time, they're consuming a lot more information. So you have an unprecedented opportunity to really take your social media and really make a bigger impact into what your company is doing, and actually create some social good in your community. Now, what can you actually do with this information? I want to give you a few tips, and these are just basic things that every business should be taking care of. So first, state that you're open and safe. It's There's a belief right now that most of our industry is not essential and they are not operating. So stating that you're open and safe, and the practices that you're making your employees go through, the sanitation efforts, these are all things that your customers need to see. State that you are essential. It's really important that customers understand that plumbers and HVAC, we have a, a purpose for our communities to provide comfort and sanitation. Um, then I think that just needs to be a little bit more clear in the eyes of the community. Stand by your community, your core values, and your purpose. Our purpose is we're dedicated to contractor success, and we absolutely will stand by this 100%. And we know that our clients are so deeply ingrained in their communities. Their community is essentially their lifeblood of how they operate. Just as if you would treat your VIP members who subscribe to preventive maintenance, these are the people who are going to be your most loyal supporters, and you have an opportunity to really stand by your purpose and your core principles, to ultimately give your community something that they'll remember you for once the pandemic is over. So, what do we do with this? We engage cause marketing. So, I want to give you 3 plug and play examples today that's going to really make it as easy and simple for your team to implement. whether you're an iMarket Solutions customer or not, but we want to make sure that these are just actionable, pre-thought out series of steps that would make it easy for you to have a much better impact into the social community, as well as create some good around the back end. So let's talk about my first example, distribution. And the idea is simple. Deliver necessities to the community or consider utilizing your business as a drive-through center. The idea behind this is essentially you have a wealth of distribution at hand. You have vans, you have team members, and you have certain people in need of certain items. And so people who are over 65, or doctors, nurses, people who can't get out to get the items they need, open your doors, open your resources up to these individuals and offer them assistance. It's a simple idea, but the impact of this could be pretty huge. So by doing this, you can grow your organic overall reach. You can grow your engagement. You can grow your brand sentiment. You can open up your opportunities for viral content distribution. And the more selfies that you're taking of your team dropping off goods for your customers is just a clear example of what dedication you have for your community. And at the end of this, I'll actually be giving you a social media campaign one sheet with all this information. The next example would be a community hero. Actually ask your community who deserves to be recognized for their their willingness to assist others in this time. And the idea is simple. We want people to nominate, and it could be anyone from nurses, first responders, janitors, people in my neighborhood. It doesn't really matter, but the idea is we can get a conversation started around your brand that makes it so you can grow your overall reach. You can really, really grow your engagement because you're really taking advantage of one of the top actions that someone can take on social media, which is a comment. And you can really grow brand sentiment, all centered around your brand. So also like the first one, we'll actually have a one sheet that we can send out afterwards with all the information that you'll need. And lastly, my last example would be community support. And the idea is actually electing and nominating local schools or charities to receive free maintenance services, evaluations, tune-ups, whatever you want to offer. And this, similar to the last view, will actually help grow your overall reach, grow your engagement, grow your brand sentiment, increase commercial work opportunities, and actually develop a stronger tie into your community groups. A lot of you already participate in certain local organizations, whether it's Lions clubs or Rotary, but this is just another way you can get involved with other people who are outside of those community groups that you're already a part of. So at the end of this, we'll figure out a way to give you all these sheets so you guys can go ahead and implement this on your own. We put in projections of what we would imagine you could get out of this, but we highly recommend that you take this time to really go through and utilize what opportunity that you have. So just to summarize a few things, personal usage is way up, around 40 plus percent in the 18 to 34 age range, and that's the highest out of the age ranges. Competition is low. We're seeing a 23% decrease in social advertising. CPM has decreased by 36%, which means you have an unprecedented opportunity to actually engage for good, resulting in more brand awareness, brand consideration, social engagement, social following, and brand loyalty. If you need any additional help, we're absolutely here to help. If you are a iMarket client, talk to your marketing coordinator. Even if you don't subscribe to our social media product, our social media team is here to assist you. And if you're not in the iMarket family, we're absolutely still here to help. So fill out a request on our website and we'll get back to you and figure out how we can assist. thank you for your time today. Once again, I'm Steven Severin, the social media manager with iMarket Solutions.